مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا.
سيقول المخلفون إذا انطلقتم إلى مغانم لتأخذوها ذرونا نتبعكم يريدون أن يبدلوا كلام الله قل لن تتبعونا كذلكم قال الله من قبل فسيقولون بل تحسدوننا بل كانوا لا يفقهون إلا قليلا.
Those who remained behind will say, when you will proceed to the spoils of war to receive them, let us follow you. They wish to change the words of Allah. Say, you shall not follow us. Allah had said like this beforehand. Then they will say, no, but you are jealous of us. On the contrary, they do not understand the reality, but a little.
قل للمخلفين من الأعراب ستدعون إلى قوم أولي بأس شديد تقاتلونهم أو يسلمون فإن تطيعوا يؤتكم الله أجرا حسنا وإن تتولوا كما توليتم من قبل يعذبكم عذابا أليما.
Say to those of the Bedouins who remain behind, you will be called against a people possessed of strong fighting power. You will have to fight them until they submit. So if you obey, Allah will give you a good reward. And if you turn away, as you had turned away earlier, He will punish you with a painful punishment.
ليس على الأعمى حرج ولا على الأعرج حرج ولا على المريض حرج ومن يطع الله ورسوله يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ومن يتول يعذبه عذابا أليما.
There is no blame on the blind, nor is there any blame on the lame, nor is there any blame on the sick. Whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, He will admit him to the gardens beneath which rivers flow. But whoever turns away, He will punish him with a painful punishment.
So verse number 11 through 17, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about mukhallifun. In this mukhallifun, these are the people who are claiming to be Muslim, but when they are called to be united and doing the fight and struggle against the disbeliever who are attacking or who are not supporting Islam, and they find excuses and reasons not to show up and accept these people who are blind or who are sick or who are handicapped, accept them. All those people who are summoned, they should join in the jihad with the Prophet being there with them, and they will be entering into the paradise. Those who took martyrdom, even while living and dead, they both will still be successful. The dead will go immediately to the paradise, and the living will, when they die, they will come into the paradise, under which the rivers are flowing, and they'll be there for eternal existence. And whoever turn away, for them there is a painful punishment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared. So these hypocrites who were pretending to be Muslim, now we are talking about 6th year of Prophet migration, and many of the Jew who claimed to be Muslim, internally they were not. As we know, Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul had about 300 Arab of the Medina who joined him, and later on these people finished, and some of them corrected themselves. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving them the promise. What is it? Verse number 18 and onwards. These people didn't go to Hudaybiyah because they thought the Prophet will not come back and all of them will be killed by Quraysh.
لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجرة فعلم ما في قلوبهم فأنزل السكينة عليهم فأنزل السكينة عليهم وأثابهم فتحا قريبا.
Allah was pleased with the believers when they were pledging allegiance with you, by placing their hands in your hands, under the tree, and he knew what was in their hearts, so he sent down tranquility upon them, and rewarded them with a victory, near at hand.
ومغانم كثيرة يأخذونها وكان الله عزيزا حكيما.
And many spoils that they would receive, and Allah is mighty, wise.
So 18 and 19, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that when they took the pledge allegiance basically is today's like a vote of allegiance and vote of recognition or election. So when Prophet ﷺ put his hand and other companion put his hand as one hand, he says, this is the hand of Usman, above them the hand of Allah, and all those people were under the shade of Allah's mercy and protection. If you look into it, there was another expedition happened that 30 people came from behind Muslims to attack them. Muslim captured them. Prophet ﷺ did not punish them. He forgave them. He let go of them. This was the mercy of Prophet. Had he created a fight, he has a right. Somebody attack you, you have a right to fight and kill them. But Prophet ﷺ forgave them, and then later on they become Muslims. So this is very important to understand. In Hudaybiyah, there was a lot of things going on that the community and the local Arab and the Arabian Peninsula, the Mecca, which was the center, a lot of things are going. So you just cannot dismiss anything. Prophet had to play very wisely. And some Muslim who were hurt and emotional and they wanted to fight and they do that to Allah. Prophet says, no, we are here for a pilgrimage. We are only going to do what Prophet promised. And then when he saw that Khalid bin Walid coming in the path to stop him, he changed the route. He did not take the same path. When the 60 or 80 people came and Prophet, when he captured them, he asked them, you are here by somebody or you're doing on your own? They said, no, we are doing on our own. We just didn't want any problem in Mecca, so we want to fight and kill you. You can imagine 80 people coming to kill 1,400. That's total nonsense, but this shows how hateful they were. And this is the same thing you see today happening when Muslims being invaded by others. Unless a Muslim from internally support the enemy, there's no way anybody can hurt you. And Muslims have been betrayed by their own kind in Bengal, in British when they came in. Mir Jafar and Mir Sadiq story you can read in the history. What happened to the Gulf, when you could see when happened to the Afghanistan, we see that supporting neighboring Muslim country was allowing non-Muslim to come and invade them. And this is the same thing happening in Gaza, and these Arab countries surrounding them are not doing anything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the victory. So Allah will give them promise of paradise, those who died and those who are living. Allah will reward them. Listen to the verse number 20 and onwards.
وعدكم الله مغانم كثيرة تأخذونها فعجل لكم هذه وكف أيدي الناس عنكم ولتكون آية للمؤمنين ويهديكم صراطا مستقيما.
Allah had promised you many spoils that you would receive, so he gave these to you sooner and stopped the hands of the people from harming you. And he did this so that it becomes a sign for believers, and so that he guides you to the right path.
وأخرى لم تقدروا عليها قد أحاط الله بها وكان الله على كل شيء قديرا.
And there is another victory that has not come within your power as yet, but Allah has encompassed it, and Allah is powerful over everything.
So verse number 18, Allah is also talking about when these people who took the covenant or pledge with Prophet ﷺ under the tree, Allah sent upon their heart a special tranquility and peace upon them, a sakina, a contentment. وَأَصَابَهُمْ فَتْحًا قَرِيبًا, and rewarded them with a near victory. Now you see, everybody was thinking that Muslims are losing by signing this deal in the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, but Allah is saying this is a victory for you. Why? Because there were no more invasion, and within after signing the treaty, within 2 years, Makkah was conquered. And between the 6th year, signed the treaty in Zulqa'dah, which is half of the year, and then by the 8th year of migration, Muslims have already opened up the Mecca, and because the kuffar could not keep up with their treaty, they broke the treaty. So maghanima kasira wa yakhuzunaha wa kana Allahu azizan hakima, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promising them that this is not just the one victory, you'll be having a lot of victory. As we see after that, Muslim open up to the east and west, and Persian and Roman Empire, all these were destroyed, and Muslim took power over that. وَعَدَاكُمُ اللَّهُ مَغَانِمًا. Allah has a promise with you that He will give you a lot of booty and spoils, كَثِيرًا, plenty of them, multiple of them. تَأْخُذُونَهَا فَجَعَلَ لَكُمْ هَذِهِ وَكَفَّ أَيْدِيَ النَّاسِ. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did, that He stopped the hand of the people. Like Quraysh would no more attack you, you will have a peaceful time, so you could spread and make the da'wah of Islam. And this is sometimes peace. Peace is very important. When the peace, Muslim grow. Peace is best for us. وَلِتَكُونَ آيَةً لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and so that it make the sign for the people of Iman, وَيَهْدِكُمْ صِرَاطًا مُسْتَقِيمًا, and to guide you on the straight path. وَأُخْرَى لَمْ تَقْدِرُوا عَلَيْهَا قَدْ أَحَاطَ اللَّهُ بِهَا. So, and there is another victory. I mean, there were also victory coming with the Hunain, with the Jerusalem and all those places. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرًا. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a destiny and power over everything. Let's listen to the verse number 22.
ولو قاتلكم الذين كفروا لولوا الأدبار ثم لا يجدون وليا ولا نصيرا.
Had the disbelievers fought you, they would have certainly turned their backs, then they would have found neither a supporter nor a helper _.
سنة الله التي قد خلت من قبل ولن تجد لسنة الله تبديلا.
According to the consistent practice of Allah, that went on since before, and you will never find a change in Allah's consistent practice.
وهو الذي كف أيديهم عنكم وأيديكم عنهم ببطن مكة من بعد أن أظفركم عليهم وكان الله بما تعملون بصيرا.
And He is the one who restrained their hands from you and your hands from them in the valley of Makkah after He had let you prevail over them, and Allah is watchful over what you do.
So verse number 22, 23 and 24, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing that when Muslims were there in Hudaybiyah, which is in the Batni Makkah, I mean the vicinity of the Makkah, and they could have attacked you, you could have attacked them, and that could have caused them to not to win against you. Allah is promising that. Lo, if they had attacked, lo qatalakum allazina kafaru lawaw adbarahum. If they had attacked on you, they would have turned back on their back, even though you had a minimum of the weapon with you. And summa la yajiduna waliyan wala nasira, and Makkah would have been conquered, and they would have not found any helper for them. Sunnatullahi allati qad khalat min qabl. This is the sunnah and the tradition of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the practice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Walan tajida li sunnatillahi tabdila, and you will not find the change in the practice or the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. هو الذي كف أيديكم عنكم وأيديكم عنهم ببطن مكة. He resisted and protected, prevented or restrained your hand against them and their hand against you in the Hudaybiyah, which is Batn Makkah, means the outskirt of Mecca. من بعد أن أظفركم عليهم. And after that He let you prevail over them, even though they thought they have victory on the deal and contract and treaty. Actually they were the losers, because they were trying to stop Allah's plan. man. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرًا, and indeed Allah is aware of whatever they are doing. Allah is watching over them. One thing to understand, that in this thing, one promise Allah is making, that had they attacked you, they would have been defeated, and once they defeated, there will be a lot of people in Mecca at that time who had embraced Islam, but out of fear they have not declared. So when Muslim would have entered Mecca, a lot of Muslim would have been killed in that. So this was one of the wisdom, that people's life were spared and protected, because people were embracing Islam in Mecca, but for reason one or the other, they were not able to declare their faith and could not leave Mecca. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this treaty at the time when Mecca was conquered. There was no bloodshed. This was a peaceful victory without any bloodshed. When otherwise there could have been a bloodshed and victory, and there could have been blood without war and bloodshed and a victory. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted Muslims to come with the peace, and this is where when Muslim enter Mecca, there was no bloodshed. When they entered Jerusalem, there was no bloodshed. Muslims always enter with the peace to these holy places. Verse number 25.
هم الذين كفروا وصدوكم عن المسجد الحرام والهدي معكوفا أن يبلغ محله ولولا رجال مؤمنون ونساء مؤمنات لم تعلموهم أن تطؤوهم فتصيبكم منهم معرة بغير علم ليدخل الله في رحمته من يشاء لو تزيلوا لعذبنا الذين كفروا منهم عذابا أليما.
They are those who disbelieved and prevented you from the sacred mosque, al-Masjidul Haram, and prevented the sacrificial animals that were detained from reaching their due place. And Allah would have allowed you to fight, had there not been believing men and believing women whom you did not know, that you might have trampled them, and thus a painful situation might have arisen for you because of them unknowingly. This situation was avoided, so that Allah may admit to his mercy whom he wills. And if they, the believing men and women, had moved from Mecca, we would surely have punished those of them who disbelieved with a painful punishment.
إذ جعل الذين كفروا في قلوبهم الحمية حمية الجاهلية فأنزل الله سكينته على رسوله وعلى المؤمنين وألزمهم كلمة التقوى وكانوا أحق بها وأهلها وكان الله بكل شيء عليما.
When the disbelievers developed in their hearts indignation, the indignation of ignorance, then Allah sent down tranquility from himself upon his messenger and upon the believers, and made them stick to the word of piety, and they were very much entitled to it and competent for it. And Allah is all-knowing about everything.
So we see that in verse number 25, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning why Allah wanted Prophet to sign a treaty as a weak point for apparently victorious or winning point for the Quraysh, that Allah did not want a bloodshed. Otherwise they were believers who Prophet may not know, companions may not know. Many of the family members of the companions who have immigrated from Mecca to Medina, they would have embraced Islam, and once they would have entered with the war, they would have caused a bloodshed, and many of the believers would have been killed by the Muslims, and they would have regretted after that, and that would have also made a bad appearance politically and otherwise around the city or in the neighboring Arabia, or the tribes that the Muslims are victorious by causing bloodshed. And if it had been, as we see when Muslims enter peacefully and after 2 years and Allah promised their victory, there was no bloodshed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, is جَعَلَ الَّذِينَ كَفْرُوا فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ حَمِيَّةً حَمِيَّةَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ. So, and the disbelievers develop in their heart indignation, and indignation of ignorance. Then Allah sent down sakina. So there are two parts. One is arrogance, which we see among the disbeliever, and the believers always have a sakina in their heart. Let's listen to the verse number 27 and 28.
لقد صدق الله رسوله الرؤيا بالحق لتدخلن المسجد الحرام إن شاء الله آمنين محلقين رؤوسكم ومقصرين لا تخافون فعلم ما لم تعلموا فجعل من دون ذلك فتحا قريبا.
Indeed, Allah has made true to his messenger the dream, shown with truth. You will definitely enter the sacred mosque, inshallah, if Allah wills, peacefully, with your heads shaved, and your hairs cut short, having no fear. So he knew what you did not know, and he assigned before that a victory, near at hand.
هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا.
He is the one who has sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth, so that he makes it prevail over all religions. And enough is Allah for being a witness to his promise.
محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم في التوراة ومثلهم في الإنجيل كزرع أخرج شطأه فآزره فاستغلظ فاستوى على سوقه يعجب الزراع ليغيظ بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما.
Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those who are with him are hard on the disbelievers, compassionate among themselves. You will see them bowing down in ruku, prostrating themselves in sajda, seeking grace from Allah, and his good pleasure. Their distinguishing feature is on their faces from the effect of sajda, prostration. This is their description in Torah, and their description in Injil is, like a sown crop that brings forth its shoot, then makes it strong, then it grows thick and stands straight on its stem, looking good to the farmers, so that he may enrage the disbelievers through them. Allah has promised forgiveness and a huge reward to those of them who believe and do good deeds.
So with this we end, and these last three verses have a lot of description and a lot of detail. One should believe in this, and the thing is, everything what we possess will be left behind, except our deed will be sent forward, and that will be with the belief. With this I will stop here. If you have any question and concern, please ask. Otherwise we shall meet next Sunday, because it was a couple of minutes late. May Allah accept from us. If you have any question, please say so.